What's going on, everyone? This is RR from Finsweet, and in this video, we are going over the Finsweet CMS library for Webflow. Now, this video specifically is a step-by-step tutorial on how you can add previous and next buttons, more or like thumbnails, to your blog. Now, it could be a blog, it can be a video page, or something where if you click the collection item, it takes you to that spot, to that page, and you'll have a previous button and a next button, and you're able to create your own thumbnails, have your own styles, and even have it sorted to whatever order you want. So make sure you keep watching and you'll have a step-by-step tutorial how to implement that. So we're in our designer, and let's go ahead and start creating these blog posts with the previous and next button inside it. This is a really cool feature, and I want you to check this out. Now, what is this useful for? Well, this is really useful for blog posts specifically, and also even sometimes you'll have maybe a list of videos, and when you click it, there's some videos with details, and you want them to be able to go to the next video or the next blog page from within that and have a previous and next button. You can have it underneath or wherever in the page, and this is how we can create something like that. We're actually going to create thumbnails for all of this. Now, we've already created a CMS. There's a CMS that we're going to be using, which is the Finsweet products. If you want to learn how to create that CMS, I recommend you go to that video on how to create a CMS. Well, for now, we've really just been creating CMS as just lists from a random website, but you actually have pages that are within that CMS, what we call blog pages or template pages. So if you go to the page icon and you go to CMS collection pages, you can actually click these pages and be able to create blog templates or CMS templates from for every single item. And what's awesome about it is everything you put in there will be dynamic. So we're gonna go ahead and go to CMS collection pages and go to the Finsweet products. That's the one that we're gonna be working on today. And so we have our blank canvas. This is the template. This is a dynamic template page. And so whenever you click those Finsweet products, it will go here. So let's go ahead and create this page. So let's go ahead and add our section. And we'll name it section. We have some predetermined classes already, like 100, 100. We're going to go ahead and add our container. And we're going to name this container. We have some pre-built classes already. Now let's go ahead and build out our template page. First we're going to add is a year number. Going back to our blog page, remember we have year numbers. It's not here. It's not here right now. It actually shows year numbers on it, and the year numbers are just something that I wanted to put in there. It's not saying that these were created in that certain year. It's just something that we can sort it in order. So what we're going to do is we're going to, actually, I think I have it here. So see, there you go. We have these year numbers here. And we're going to put that in the blog page because that's how we're going to sort it as well. So let's go ahead and add. So we have our container. We're going to add a year number in there. We're going to have a text block. And we're going to get the text from the year. Now, I want to style it. I think I have an H2 style already, which is more consistent. No, I don't. So I will create one. What we'll do is we'll go ahead and create a class. Well, we'll style it first and we'll create a class, okay? We're going to name this, we're going to use Montserrat, however you pronounce that. And we're going to make it bold. And why don't we make it 18? And then actually, why don't we go ahead and name it into prev next year. Now this is actually going to be a very important class to remember. So just remember this class, prev next year. And we'll go ahead and add some padding on the bottom or margin on the bottom, maybe like 20 pixels, because we're going to add an image. So let's go ahead and add an image here. And we know what this image is going to be. We're going to get the image from the product image. Now this is actually a little too wide for my liking. So I'm going to delete this and we're just going to make it a regular container, just a standard container. We don't have to name it. And let's go ahead and add our heading right underneath this image. We're going to go and call it heading, so that it's styled already. We're going to get the text from the title, and then we'll add our description. Make sure that it's inside the container when you create these things. We're going to get our description there, and then name it paragraph. Awesome. I actually added some other things just so we can have some more text. I went to the collection and added rich text in here, and I just kind of put some Latin, lorem ipsum default text right here, and I called it paragraph. So we're actually going to go ahead and add that as well into our page, just so it looks longer and we have an actual, paragraph, an actual thing that looks like a blog. Okay, so we actually have to add a rich text, and then we're going to go ahead and name it paragraph. Or we're going to style it as, or we're going to get the source from the paragraph, or we're going to style it paragraph. Now I want a little, no, that's fine. That's okay. Good. So we have our blog post here, and what we're going to do now is now time to create the button. So this is kind of what the blog page will look like, and we're going to create the buttons right underneath it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create a container, another container right here, and we're actually going to name this container, this is very important, prev next collection. Now you're going to be using this name somewhere else as well, so just keep that in mind. And we're going to make this into a grid container. Okay, let's why don't we do this? Let's add some padding, some margin, not padding, on the bottom. So let's maybe add 50 pixels on the bottom, just so we can have some spacing there. And so this previous next collection, we'll go ahead and add our previous year, actually the text previous year and next year, because this is where we're going to have the thumbnails, and this is where it's going to show previous year, next year when you click it, and it shows that and so forth. Okay, so let's go ahead and add some text here. Let's see, we'll add a text block right there. We're going to get the text from the year, and we're going to go ahead and name this prev next year. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, not prev next year. We wanted to say previous year. I'm sorry, not the actual year. I don't know why I did that. So let's actually not get the text there. There's going to be actually typed. Okay. That's my bad. Previous year. And let's add some style to make consistent with the look. Montserrat. I still haven't figured out how to pronounce it. And we'll just do it 16. And we'll make it bold. Okay, let's do semi-bold. No, bold was nice. Bold was actually better. And so we'll go ahead and name this. We'll do H2. When you start coding, these are kind of the heading names that you put for these things. And then we're going to add another one. We're going to copy this and paste it. And we're going to make this one to say next year. Now, I always have a problem with Webflow doing this. So what we're going to do, we're actually going to make it manual. And there you go. So previous year and next year, this is where our buttons are going to be. And we're going to add 2 div blocks actually in this box right here, in this container. And these boxes, these div blocks are actually just going to be pretty much placeholders. And they're actually going to be empty. There's nothing going to be in them except for what we're going to put in there, what the script will insert in there later. Now, this is very key, what we're going to name these boxes. We're going to have 2 class names for this. We're going to name this one prev next box. This is going to be our main class name. And then we're going to have a secondary class. This is very important. This is going to be prev-box, short for previous box. And then we're going to go ahead and copy this, duplicate it. And we'll go ahead and rename this one. You know what? What we should have done is actually this. Let's kind of undo a little bit. And so we have prev next box, right? Why don't we go ahead and copy this and paste it, duplicate it. So we have two boxes, both prev next boxes, but we're going to add a secondary class to this one called prev-box, short for previous box. And we're going to have a secondary class here called next box. Now these names are very important because later on we're going to put these names in the script, these classes in the script, and this will direct the script to put those thumbnails into these boxes. But for now, we're actually just going to keep them empty, and that's it. And now it's time to insert the collection. Now this collection is where the script will be pulling the information from, and also even the thumbnails that they will insert into these empty boxes that we've just created. So we'll go ahead and add a new container here. Let's go ahead and do that. Add a container right underneath, and we're going to call this container just a simple prev next. Now you may think this is the one that you're going to hide. It's not. We want to keep this present, and we're going to add a margin on top, about 50 pixels on top, just to keep it spaced out. And then inside this container, we're going to add a CMS collection. Now this is our collection. What we're going to do now, we're going to insert this collection. We're going to build out the thumbnail. So let's get the source for this collection. We know it's going to be the Finsweet products, and we'll keep the layout just as is. Now that we have a collection, let's name our classes. I'm going to name the top one just standard collection list wrapper, which is what we've named some of our other collection list wrappers, just so it's consistent and we want to keep it named. Now this one right here, we want to name this one differently, okay? We're actually going to name this one the same name that we put here, which was prev next collection. We're going to name this one as well prev next collection, prev next hyphen collection. And then so that it's different, we're going to add a secondary class. Now, by the way, the secondary class is going to be the important one. This is where we will determine that this will be the source where the script will get the information from. So we're going to name this one prev next hyphen hidden. And you guessed it, this is the one that we're going to hide. But for now, we need to build it out. So we're going to put it to block view, block display. Instead of hidden display, we're going to name it block display. Or we're going to view it. We're going to display it as a block instead of the display hidden. So now that we have it here, and we're going to go ahead and add our items inside. We're going to add the thumbnails. We're going to create the thumbnails inside here. Now this collection item, we're going to name this one just standard collection item. So we're going to go ahead and name that collection item. Oh, we should have some already. Collection, okay, whatever, collection item. There we go. And then inside this collection item, we are going to add a link block. Make sure you have a link block, not just a div block, but a link block. We want to be able to press this block. Now, on the page of the link block, we're going to choose the current Finsweet product for Webflow, whatever is the current one, and we'll just leave it at that. And then, of course, we're going to go ahead and build our block, our link block. We're going to name this one. This is very important as well. Make sure you remember this name, prev next hyphen thumbnail. So this is going to be a thumbnail that we're going to go ahead and build out and style. This is where you can, style your thumbnail and all those things. So now that we have this, we want this to actually be display block, not that. And we'll add some padding all around. I'm going to add 20 pixels of padding all around. And then I'm going to add a background, just a very subtle gray. And so inside this thumbnail, what we're going to add first is the year. Remember that year right here, prev next year? Let's go ahead and copy that and insert it inside this thumbnail. Now, for some reason, it always makes it, whenever it's a link block, makes it underlined and blue. I personally don't like that. So let's go ahead and make, while you have the thumbnail highlighted, not the text, but the thumbnail, we're going to go ahead and X out the underline. We're going to make this the color that we had, which was black. Or I believe it was dark gray. There you go. Now, it only did it for this one because this is current. Because it has that secondary class current as the current state. So we'll go ahead and do this for this as well. Make sure you click the thumbnail, the link block, and just X this out, and then put this color. And there we go. Let's add our image inside here because we want that thumbnail to have an image. And we're going to get the image from product image. Now, by the way, important thing to do as well. While you have the previous next thumbnail, let's go ahead and set the width to 100%. This is to ensure that if it were to go in this container, it's going to take up that width. And if you ever want to make it thinner or whatever, you could actually just get this container. You can make it 50%. You can determine a set pixel width. You want a certain height, whatever. If this is 100%, then it will follow the styles that you made here. The changes, the look that you did for this one. So we have our image. Let's go ahead and add the title. And we don't want it too big. We're going to be using the H2. Remember that class that we made? H2. We're going to do that one. And we're going to get the title from there. It does look small here right now with this image, but remember, when we put it here, this image will scale down and will be only this wide. So then therefore we want the text to be proportionate. And we want some margin on the top. So I'm going to put, actually on this one, I'll just go ahead and add maybe 20 pixels on the bottom. Good. Then let's just add a description so we have that intact. And we're not going to put the whole thing, which is the lorem ipsum. We're actually just going to get the description. And then we're going to name that paragraph so that we have that consistent style. Good. We are ready to go. This is our thumbnail that we want. I'm going to add some margin at the bottom just so that it's separated and we can see that. Okay. And here as well because of the whole current thing. So now that we have our collection item, we're going to go ahead and look at it. Now we're going to hide this one. Remember, this will be hidden. Okay. So we have the elements we want to remember. We have the pre-next thumbnail. We want to remember that. We want to remember the pre-next year. We also want to remember the pre-next box and this pre-next hidden. Those are some of the names that we want to remember. And this is the one that we're going to hide as well. So let's go ahead and hide that and it will just look like this. So let's publish it and let's look at the page that we have so far. So that's what the look that we want. We want it to just look like this. Let's go back to our Webflow, and now we're going to go ahead and put the code. Let's go to Visual Script Writer, and then we're going to go ahead and click the previous next and start inputting the names that we want. In this top one, we're going to put this prev next hidden. We're not going to put prev next collection because we don't want this to be the one. We don't want it to get the source here. We want it to get the source here. So the prev next hidden is the CMS list class. And make sure when you type these things, make sure they are exact. I'm talking about to the letter, to the character. It has to be exact or else it will not work. Okay, so prev next hidden. And then this next button class. Now you remember what we created here? We have our prev next box. That's not what we want. We want that secondary class, which is the next box and the previous box. This instructs the script that the next blog goes here and the previous one goes here. So we're going to call this one, I believe it was next box for our next button class. And then this will be prev box for previous button class. Now the post number class is very important, really more for sorting. If you want to be able to sort it, you want these years. It doesn't have to be year. It could be a blog number. It could be a date. Whatever you want to decide with that. It could be project number, whatever. In this case, I put year. So you remember this class right here? Prev next hyphen year. That's what we're going to put here. Prev next hyphen year. And then the thumbnail class is exactly what we put in this link block, which was prev next thumbnail. Now that we have our code, let's go ahead and copy this code. Go back to Webflow, click the page icon, and then remember we are using the Finsweet products for Webflow template. This collection page is where we want the code to be. We're going to go ahead and put in before body tag, paste it right there, and save. And now we're going to go ahead and publish. Remember, if you just put preview, the code is not going to work. We have to publish it and then look at it as a live website. So we're going to look at the live website, and I always get nervous whenever I do this. For some reason, if I type something wrong, if I did something wrong, it doesn't work. But we'll go ahead and click it. And there you go. We have our blog post. Notice we have our thumbnails here. Now, there's no previous year because we're the first one. So we'll click next year. So loading, next year, next year, next year. You notice we are scrolling through, we're pretty much just clicking through our Finsweet products. Now, you may say, well, okay, that's not in order. 2020, 2014, next year, 2019. I get you. I know, it is different, right? It's not in order. Well, it's a very simple fix. All we have to do is go to the items and go to this part right here. Click the gear icon right here on the right. And we're going to sort order. Click the plus icon. And we're going to sort it with a year, alphabetical A through Z. Meaning, and if it's numbers, it's, 1 to 10, whatever. Right? So I have year, press save. Now we're going to go ahead and publish it. And it should be in the correct order now. We'll click that. And now notice we have 2020. There is no next year. Previous year, 2019. Previous year, 2018. So notice now 2019 is 2018, 2020, 2018, 2017, 2019. Now we have it in order. And so now you have a blog page that you have a previous next button inside it, and you're able to do all this with the script. If you ever want to edit it, you want to edit the thumbnails, all you have to do is just show this real quick, make your changes, and then go put it back to display none. Now, the last step that we want is to make sure that we're able to go to this page, right? So let's go ahead and go back to our home page. Do you remember this one right here that we created before? It was cool. It still works. We are still able to sort out through this. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and click this div, right? This Finsweet product box. We're going to right click it, or we're going to make it into a link block. We're going to convert it to a link block, and we're going to get the URL. We're going to get the page right here, and we want it to go to the current Finsweet products. So now that we have it there, you're able to click it. I'm going to add some things here just so that we know what we're clicking, right? So we'll put a hover state, and when you hover over it, we're just going to have a very light purple-ish background. So let's go ahead and publish this. And you can even sort this in the year order as well. It's up to you. So now that we have this, we have these linkable link blocks. We'll click this, and it will take us to that blog page. We have our previous year, and all those things. So it's very simple, and I hope that tutorial was easy to follow. If you have any questions about it, you could actually even check the clonable we created for this product, and also just do this tutorial step by step and follow along, and you'll be able to use this amazing tool. If you're still having trouble, if you still have any questions, make sure you check out sweetjs.io. This is the Slack channel that we have for anyone who has any questions about any of the tools that Finsweet has to offer. You can ask the Finsweet team over there. So make sure you join that Slack channel, and make sure you stick around for more videos, more content, and more tutorials for any of the tools that Finsweet has to offer. And trust me, there's a lot.
That's effing sweet.